Willpower is the key to success. Successful people strive no matter what they feel by applying their will to overcome apathy, doubt, or fear. Dan Millman. My friends, this is a fascinating day in the market. Just like yesterday, had a lot of stuff going on, and the things I warned you about that could happen today, well, some of them happened. This is a big up day for everything except bonds. Now, let's start first with the S&P 500. And I will call your attention to what I pointed out yesterday. Remember me telling you, and I'm looking at the bottom of the screen in the 195-minute chart, where I put these horizontal lines. I put one at the most recent low back on the 20th of January, and I said, hey guys, look at what happened on Thursday. We hit that. Are we going to sink through it and maybe lead us into a bearish move in the market, particularly if we go to the other low that we hit that you see? I'm trying to figure out where that one came from, but maybe it was here on this chart. It was on the weekly chart. But as we look at where the other low was, is it going to sink through that and really trundle down, or is it going to bounce off? And what did it do? It bounced off. I said, let's wait until Friday before we pull the trigger on any potential down move and see what happens. And of course, it was a floor like we said it could be, and it bounced off up 1.92% for the day. Now, as we look at things, we see what? Extreme indecision here on this weekly chart. Let's blow that up for you. We see where there's that other low where it hit off the weekly chart. But as we look at what happened this week, you can see what? You can see a doji here sitting right on the line. Extreme indecision, lots of volume. This is not negative volume. The red simply means it opened lower than the prior close. Doesn't mean it's negative volume, selling volume. It is buying and selling volume. But what we see is loads of indecision as we end this week. Now, typically, what do we like to jump into a down move? We want lots of volume with a prior high with average or higher volume, which is what we got here, an interim high. And then, of course, after that high, well, if it's an interim high or a high of highs, whichever it might be, and then what do we have next? We want to have not the kind of ranging we see here with so much volatility, decent ranging, and a nice piece of a red spinning top. Not a doji and not a big red candle with a wick on top and bottom, but a small spinning top with not too much volatility. That means not too high a wick on the bottom or the top. We didn't have that. We had extreme volatility. We had lots of extreme indecision. Markets trying to figure out what it's going to do. And of course, after moving down yesterday, it then shot up, well, actually starting to move down back on Tuesday, the 3rd in the morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it then popped up on Friday. Now, what is interesting is it didn't push through the prior weekly trend line that it fell below. We look at where we are on the first day of the latest 2-day candle, a doji. And again, there's a little piercing of the trend line, but not much. It'll probably hit average volume on Monday if much goes on. So again, we'll keep an eye on things. Is the market rolling over? Not yet. We don't have any trigger to go short. So we'll continue to wait, watch, and see. What about the NASDAQ 100? You can see on the weekly candlestick, it is a red spinning top. It is higher than average volume. You have an interim high here on the prior week, although it shot up what? 2.11% after moving down since Tuesday. And again, moved up some, still well below the weekly trend line. Anybody pull a trigger on this one for a down move? I'd have been hard put to at the end of the day with a 2.11% up move. But we will keep an eye on things. You can see for the first day of this latest 2-day candle, we did again, we bounced off the trend line, off the floor, and we bounced off it on the half-day chart and on the 2-day chart. We stayed there at it. So we will keep an eye on things as we move into this next week. We may find ourselves going short if things roll over strong. I'd be curious if any of you thought there was anything that led you to believe that it was the time to pull a trigger on a big up day, if this wasn't some type of exhaustion move. I didn't see that, but I am curious as to where things go. If we breach this floor that we have not penetrated yet, and we do see, again, things setting up this next week for continued downward momentum, I would be very interested in, considering wholeheartedly a move over going down. And of course, if we break this lower trend, I keep calling them trend lines, I'm so used to saying them, floor, again, that one is going all the way back to where things bottomed on the week beginning the 17th of November. That would be another breach and another warning sign. So going to be paying close attention to both the S&P and the NASDAQ this next week, and seriously considering jumping in on the NASDAQ if I do see continued weakness. Now, let's look at where we are with bonds. Bonds popping up just a little bit, 0.07%. Now, this is the second day where bonds have moved up. They breached the weekly trend line on the half-day chart. They've never, and again, I keep telling you guys, we really don't have a trend line here. We've got nothing. I've not been able to draw anything. And even now, I could draw one, I guess, but I'd be drawing it the wrong way. Remember, bottom up, top down on red candles. I don't have a red candle to attach to anything, so I don't have the ability to draw any kind of line. I should probably just take it off because it keeps confusing me. Let's just remove it because we really don't have a trend to even follow. We have a doji at the end of the week, up a little bit on Thursday, and then up a little bit on Friday after an up move on Thursday. We do have a couple of ceilings that we've drawn in here. If we do start breaching those, that gives us some possibilities of where things may go to, and we will keep an eye on that. We've not done that yet. Now, again, I think if stocks move over, bonds may very likely move up. There may be some short covering, but I think if, again, stocks move down strong, I think bonds may move up strong. We'll continue to wait, watch, and see. What about gold? Gold recovering some for the day, up 3.07%. If any of you guys read my point paper that I wrote last weekend, as promised, you can still find it at chartingwealth.com. It's about 3 down. If you just go there or look under trainings, you will see it. And we do believe there's still a bull market in precious metals. After what we saw happen last week, last week, and then moving on into this week, we had some deleveraging, a whole bunch of different stuff happening. We still think there is a lot of opportunity for things to move back up. Where are we right now, though? Ended up with lots of indecision, sitting right there on the line. That is the weekly trend line with a doji, with lots of indecision, above average volume. As we see, we had a big down move on the 2-day chart, the Monday, Tuesday. We had, again, a spinning top on the Wednesday, Thursday, and we have a doji here for Friday, and the volume has been whittling down quite considerably over the 8 days that you see 7 days. I'm sorry, because it's just first day of the latest 2-day candle. Still below the trend line on on both the 2-day chart and the half-day chart, below that weekly trend line. And again, no volume to speak of for the last, 2.5 days there on the half day. So we'll keep an eye on things and see. Gold is probably going to get its metal back in it and start moving up again. But what did we say? Expect lots of volatility. Now, Bitcoin, you want to talk about volatility? Man, is it hammered down this week. We ended up with a shorter candle and a longer wick with a 10.05% up movement today up in the morning. Doesn't look like it reached the high it reached in the afternoon that it reached in the morning. Let's see. The high in the morning was 2022. The high in the afternoon was 2018. So you're not quite. I'm surprised I could actually see that on this little chart. Didn't have a lot of volume either. You can see how the volume's been dropping as Bitcoin has sort of gone off the deep end. So it did whack up a little bit today. We've blown through any possibility of a base, and we'll just continue to watch as Bitcoin trundles down. Nothing new here, right, friends? Oh, you've been with us and followed Bitcoin as we have for many, many years now. Before the creation of these Bitcoin ETFs, we have followed Bitcoin for a long time, and we have seen all sorts of craziness. We've seen everybody dump Bitcoin, everybody then jump into Bitcoin. And of course, it's died 1,000 deaths and been resurrected like a phoenix. Will it survive to live another day? It seems to just be the comeback kid. And about the time that everybody gives up on Bitcoin and it moves down, 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 it'll hit somewhere, and it may very well be where we have drawn in this horizontal line at this low going back to August of 2024. Maybe it'll get there, and maybe it'll hold there, and maybe it'll build a base there, and maybe it'll move up. There's other possibilities along the way. It doesn't have to go that far. But, because let's see, we talked about this already. We talked about it penetrating. This one from back on April 7 of 2025, already blown below that. So again, maybe that's where it's going. Maybe that's a good buy point. We shall wait. We shall see. And we'll be ready to move when it does. My friends, you have questions, problems, concerns, we're always happy to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm going to put in the Monday effect as the training at the end of today's show. I think you will like it. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.